Welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report today for November the 7th of 2019. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams, and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest stories from around the industry 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, on YouTube, podcast services, and medium.com/Jampack Report. So if you do want to follow along with the show, there are links to every version of it down below, and I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button, follow along, or of course, if you did want to go the extra mile, memberships are now available on YouTube. But again, that's never required. Always appreciated. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's top gaming news. First off, China bans kids from playing games after 10 p.m., caps microtransaction spending. A new Chinese law that went into place on Tuesday has placed extreme limits on the screen times of the nation's youth, with everyone under the age of 18 now restricted from playing video games for longer than 90 minutes a day or between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. As the New York Times reports, China's National Press and Publication Administration announced the changes earlier this week, which are aimed at addressing issues like video game addiction, nearsightedness, and poor academic performance across a broad swath of society. The curfew times apply 7 days a week, while the 90-minute time limit applies Monday to Friday. On weekends, kids will be allowed 3 hours per day to play. They'll also have to sign up for online gaming accounts using their real names and identification. In addition to the stuff controlling time spent in front of a screen, an additional measure is also aimed at tackling the amount of money spent on DLC and microtransactions. There will now be a hard limit of between $28 and $57 per month users are able to spend on items, which scales depending on how old the player is. While this all sounds very sudden and drastic, the New York Times reports that the industry has known this was coming for a while, and many games and providers already provide baked-in limits similar to these in the Chinese market, so it might not be as impactful on the bottom line of developers as the story originally makes it out to be. Now, with that being said, this is very drastic in my opinion, because as somebody who is from the United States and who has always grown up in America, the government restricting the amount of time anybody in their nation can do anything seems like a foreign concept to me. That seems like a very restrictive kind of way to live, and of course it is, because China is a very different country as compared to the United States. So this is all, no pun intended, foreign to me, or no joke intended. That's not really a pun. But with that being taken into account, overall, I understand the sentiment here, because this is what parents should be doing in general. I'm not saying that every parent should restrict their kid to 90 minutes of game time per day, curfew between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. That's not necessarily the one-stop shop, the one-size-fits-all for every kid and every life and every family. But it is up to the families to restrict just how much kids play and to ensure that they are able to effectively function in society, along with being able to support their gaming habits and to enjoy one of the world's most popular modern hobbies. But this is not the government's place to regulate any of this. Of course, again, China, a very different nation, but it sounds like developers and studios have definitely taken this into account before the restrictions went into place, and so it doesn't sound like something that's going to be impacting the bottom line of the industry overall. Of course, kids in China make up a very huge part of the modern gaming industry overall, especially, as you would expect, for international studios and international projects. But it looks like there is a brand new curfew on top of a limitation on how much and when kids can play in China, and on top of that, just how much cash they can spend on microtransactions, which, if there's any good part of this entire situation, I believe it is the limit for the amount of money that kids can spend on in-game items and microtransactions, because kids are very, very susceptible to being lured into spending copious amounts of money on things that they don't really need by using their parents' credit card or even their own money from time to time. And so to restrict the ability for a kid to become a whale, somebody who spends tons and tons of cash on in-game purchases, sounds like a pretty good move in my book, and one that maybe should be looked into on a broader scale. But outside of this, this seems like a very bold move, a strong move from the Chinese government, which there are too many weak moves from the Chinese government in general. But on top of that, Guerrilla Games' new boss, actually, they need a new boss because their boss is the new head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios. Guerrilla Games boss Herman Hulst is PlayStation's new head of worldwide studios. He takes over from Shawn Layden, who departed the company last month. At Guerrilla, Hulst most recently oversaw the successful launch of Horizon Zero Dawn, seen as a major new franchise for PlayStation, and worked with Kojima Productions to help get the imminent Death Stranding out the door. As head of WWS, Hulst will oversee the work of all 15 PlayStation-owned studios worldwide, such as Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, Sucker Punch, Ben Studio, Insomniac, and Media Molecule. Former WWS boss Shuhei Yoshida, who more recently had served in a different role as its president, is given a new job looking after third-party indie games, focused on celebrating external developers that are creating new and unexpected experiences for the gaming community, Sony said. Yoshida will report directly to Jim Ryan, the former PlayStation Europe chief, who became boss of the entire PlayStation business earlier this year. Herman is one of the most effective and well-respected leaders in the video game industry, Ryan said today. Worldwide Studios is a critical part of the future success of the company, and we must deliver on the promise we have made to gamers to create imaginative and exciting content that is truly unique to PlayStation. I have no doubt Herman can lead our teams to deliver compelling and diverse experiences at a steady cadence. Everybody knows just how passionate Shu is about independent games, Ryan continued on Yoshida's new posting. These wildly creative experiences deserve focus and a champion like Shu at PlayStation who will ensure the entire SIE organization works together to better engage with independent developers through a culture of supporting and celebrating their contributions to PlayStation platforms. It's been a period of some change within PlayStation. Sony veteran Shawn Layden, head of WWS between Yoshida and Hulst, left the company after 32 years. It takes everything in me not to just call him Shu after listening to Kinda Funny for years. No reason was given for his departure. Of course, there are reports of a reshuffle within the company's UK office that surfaced at the same time. Now, this is a very big move, and of course, right out of the gate, congratulations to Mr. Hulst, who has an incredible career with Guerrilla, but on top of that, this is a very big move, and I do believe that this is a fantastic move, because as somebody who has had hands-on experience working with Shawn Layden, as somebody who has seen the launch of many successful games under the Guerrilla Games flag, of course, their engine being used for the new Death Stranding that's coming out very soon. This is somebody who has experience, this is somebody who knows the industry, and this is somebody who has the potential to fill the shoes of Shawn Layden and could potentially even improve on what Shawn Layden originally laid down. But overall, congrats to the head of Guerrilla Games, who is now the head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios. A very big step up, and of course, congratulations to Mr. Yoshida as well. Because if there's one person in the modern gaming industry that is incredibly passionate about indies, it is without a doubt Shuhei Yoshida. This man lives and breathes indie games. If you follow him on Twitter, you'll know that. But wow, what a move overall, and of course, Sony is still shuffling around on the back end, and so hopefully things will begin to settle down as we inch closer and closer to the next generation console, because right now things look to be very disorganized, disassociated, very much so in need of some settling, because there are a lot of people on the move, scurrying from room to room, building to building over there at Sony, and man, it'd be nice to have a little bit of a, foundation laid down before the next gen launches, which I think is exactly what they're doing right now. However, Valve could be working on a cloud gaming competitor to Google Stadia. Heck, it's called Steam Cloud Gaming. An emergent trend in gaming is the rise of cloud-powered game streaming. PlayStation now has tackled this concept for half a decade, allowing players to stream games to their PS4 and PC. Xbox upped the ante recently with Project xCloud, which enables Xbox One games to stream to mobile devices, and Google Stadia, which launches in 2 weeks, hinges its entire ecosystem on leveraging Google's servers to stream video games. There might be a new competitor. Steam Database, a group that tracks changes to Steam, has found a code update that includes something called Steam Cloud Gaming. There is a GitHub document you can check out, but the discovery comes from an upcoming Steam Cloud Gaming addendum, which seems to be an updated distribution agreement that Valve will ask partners to sign. If Valve is indeed pursuing cloud gaming, it'd be a natural evolution of its current system. Right now, Steam allows players to stream games to devices outside of their network through Steam Link anywhere, but it requires a PC that's always on to act as the server. Cloud gaming just places the bandwidth burden on Valve rather than on the consumer. Also, there is a sizable demographic for Steam Cloud Gaming. Project xCloud is currently for streaming Xbox first-party games. Google Stadia is an entirely new platform for streaming that requires no additional hardware. Steam Cloud Gaming could take some of the wind out of of Stadia's sales among PC players who already have a significant library built up through Steam. All their needs, both local PC play and cloud-based game streaming, will be contained within the same service. But this is all putting the cart ahead of the horse. For now, Steam Cloud Gaming is nothing more than a name, albeit a name that makes its intentions perfectly clear. This could be a very big move, and I think that this article from Destructoid really nails it, because the big draw of Google Stadia is being able to play console and PC quality games anywhere on any device, and that is incredibly valuable. But at the same time, the library simply isn't there right now. Now, there are some very big names coming to Google Stadia, some exclusives even, but whenever you've got a giant library of games on Steam, as many PC players do, to be able to stream those anywhere to any device, regardless of a lot of the factors that have restricted Steam to date, that could be a very big move that could kill Google Stadia. Not even going to beat around the bush with that one. Now, will this be able to compete with PlayStation Now and, of course, Project xCloud? Yes, but those services will still be able to survive and thrive in their own ecosystems because of the fact that they are platform-specific. You have PlayStation exclusives on PlayStation Now. You have Xbox exclusives on Project xCloud. Those still bring value to those individual services. But when it comes to the PC space, there aren't too many exclusives that people are clamoring for over Google Stadia, and so that kind of puts them in a really bad spot. So essentially, the point that I want to make is that the PC space is the only one that needs a cloud service right now. A dominant force has to emerge, and that very well could be Steam if this code is to be believed to be bringing Steam Cloud Gaming into reality. But we will have to wait and see what happens. Again, this is nothing more than just a new batch of code and an updated addendum coming soon to developers for them to sign. But still, nonetheless, exciting to see in the process. But you could be playing a brand new Yooka-Laylee game on one of these services. However, it's not going to be Project xCloud, or it might. I'm just trying to make a transition for the podcast. The Ukulele Studio has shot down Microsoft buyout talk. Playtonic Games, developer of Yooka-Laylee, and its recent sequel, has squashed speculation it has been bought by Microsoft. In a statement posted to Twitter today, the UK-based studio apologized to fans excited by the idea that its team was working on a new Banjo-Kazooie game under the Xbox Game Studios umbrella. Playtonic, of course, was founded by former Rare staff who cut their teeth on the studio's library of classics, including Banjo and Donkey Kong Country. Said Playtonic, "We're sorry if this isn't what you wanted to hear from us. At first, we found it amusing Ed Bryan's bag is being used as a serious evidence, but we reckoned it wouldn't be fair if we didn't set the record straight." And of course, the full statement is as follows. Hey everyone, we wanted to address the speculation currently swarming our mentions. We hate to be the bearers of bad news that isn't what you want to hear, but we thought it best to come out and say we aren't working on a new Banjo-Kazooie game and we remain an independent studio. While we would love to work with the Bear and the Bird again, that ball isn't in our court. With that said, we are keen to continue progressing as a studio, carrying the experience of games we worked on, old and new, to create new characters and adventures for you to hopefully love. We're sorry if this isn't what you wanted to hear from us. At first, we found it amusing that Ed Bryan's bag is being used as serious evidence, but we reckon it wouldn't be fair if we didn't set the record straight. Of course, with love, Playtonic Games. Talk of Playtonic being bought blew up on Reset Era yesterday. Evidence included the recent hiring of ex-Rare developer Ed Bryan, a photo Bryan had tweeted of an old Microsoft-branded bag, and the recent registration of Playtonic under a slightly different company name. Of course, here is the bag that says Microsoft. Very old logo, roughly circa 2005. The list of evidence above set tongues wagging and an announcement. Wow, that's a god-awful conglomeration of words. Playtonic joining Xbox Game Studios was speculated for this month's impending XO19 event in London. But to be clear, that is not happening. Of course, finally, while a new Banjo game would be lovely, it's worth remembering Playtonic's latest release, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, is the best thing yet from the studio. Playtonic tightens up its nostalgic take on platforming and turns its eyes to the future, wrote the author in Eurogamer's Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair review, if you did want to check that out from Eurogamer. But all of this to say, excited to see what the studio is working on, but it looks like they are not going to be doing a Banjo-Kazooie game, and they are not going to be bought out by Microsoft or pass go to collect $200. But it would be such a good fit. Let's be very real here. Microsoft has been snapping up the studios left and right. And of course, if this studio does want to remain independent, that's totally on them. But at the same time, man, they would be such a good fit in the Microsoft Xbox Game Studios family. However, again, totally respect Playtonic. They've made some really impressive projects, especially The Impossible Lair, which is the most recent game that got some pretty stellar reviews overall. But they are not going to be bought out by Microsoft, and the rumors have been squashed. However, let's talk about this mess now, because a wellness app developer apologizes for plagiarizing indie game Grizz. The accused app has owned up, apologized, and taken the video in question down. Indie platformer Grizz was celebrated at launch for its beautiful art, among other things, and plenty of folks took notice of its gorgeous sense of style. Now it seems that one designer took too much notice and copied many elements of the game's style in their own work for wellness app The Fabulous. Grizz publisher Devolver Digital publicly accused the app makers of ripping off Grizz's artwork in a tweet, which includes a side-by-side video of the app running alongside Grizz. In the tweet, they warn other developers to be careful of big companies and brands stealing creative work from them. The Fabulous took notice and took the video down. Speaking with Gamasutra, Fabulous's CEO Sammy Ben stated that the team's wrongdoing was unintentional and that the team has been inspired by several other games in their work, including Journey and Monument Valley. "We have a team of 2 artists and freelancers, and that video was created a few months ago," Ben said. "We're still investigating this, as all of this has been sudden, but any wrongdoing from our side is not intentional. It might be that one of our artists or freelancers got inspired by a game that they liked." Fabulous also followed up on Twitter, directly tweeting at Devolver Digital about the situation. And they say, "Similar to you, we are a small startup inspired by the things we love. We have removed the video as a preemptive action and are investigating. We've privately contacted Devolver Digital to resolve this. Any wrongdoing on our part was certainly not intentional. Of course, I took things way too far, and what I thought I was managing got slipped out of my control without me even noticing. Our lead designer had no idea about that since he, like I said, didn't play the game. I am the only person responsible for this catastrophe. As a content creator, I'm ashamed that I ended up copying someone else's hard work, and believe me, this is the first time that I know of that this has happened to me." Of course, that is from the author. And overall, it looks like this is going to be a learning experience for a lot of people in the industry, specifically the developers of the wellness app, The Fabulous. But I wanted to bring this up in the same way that I brought up the Phase Jarvis discussion yesterday. You need to be sure whenever you are looking at anything, creating anything online, that you are bringing something unique to the table. And of course, whenever you look at my thumbnails that I've made for YouTube, I tend to try and find pictures. I tend to try and find screenshots. I try and find stuff that is very generic overall. Or if I can't find anything that's generic, I try and merge different elements together to make something that is unique in my own. Because that's called creating. To be able to create something, yes, if you draw it yourself, sure, you are creating that. But at the same time, if the inspiration is clearly from another project, you're walking a very fine line. And so if you are going to be stealing somebody's work, or at least taking huge inspiration, make it known from the very beginning. Let people know that, hey, this is inspired from this. This is a tribute to this, something like that. When you're working for an app developer and you're creating art for an app, you pretty much need to make something completely and totally unique. I tweeted just last night where I saw that Game Rant and Visuals by Impulse both took my thumbnail that I made for a Mixer versus Twitch comparison and used it for their own content. That's just one example of millions of people doing that online in the modern day. So overall, the lesson here, be careful if you're creating content, whether it be a paid freelance gig or just something you do in your spare time or for any kind of outlet whatsoever. Do your own work, or at the very least, let people know where you get your inspiration from. But finally, if you want to let people know where you get your money from, you could be saying Rockstar if you find a bug in their game. Rockstar is offering cash rewards for finding Red Dead Online security flaws. Have you ever been improperly banned from Grand Theft Auto Online for false positive cheating, even though absolutely no cheating actually took place? Well, here's the fact, Jack. Rockstar doesn't believe you. It just doesn't believe you so much that if you can prove it, more precisely, if you can successfully identify a reproducible incorrect ban in GTA Online, it will give you $10,000. The bounty offered through the HackerOne website was actually first offered a year ago as part of a bug bounty program that's been running since 2016. But yesterday, with the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC, Rockstar expanded the program to encompass a wider range of games and vulnerabilities. To date, the private program has been a targeted bounty campaign to root out a very specific type of potential vulnerability in Grand Theft Auto Online, Rockstar said in the update. However, we are happy to announce that beginning today, we will now be accepting a wider variety of vulnerability reports for in-scope vulnerability categories. Rockstar is now taking reports from the following games: GTA 5 and GTA Online on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and Red Dead 2 and Red Dead Online on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, as well as mobile apps Red Dead Redemption 2 Companion and iFruit mobile app. It's not as simple as posting a message in a forum, though. If you want to qualify for rewards, you will need to enroll in Rockstar's private bounty program, and you'll also have to follow some fairly strict rules about what to report and how to report it. If you happen to earn yourself a ban while testing for issues, that's tough noogies for you. It won't be reversed. The minimum bounty for discovered vulnerabilities is $150, but it goes up from there based on the severity and complexity of the identified potential vulnerability. Researcher Mario Gomez, not Gnomes, that's not the right word, who tops Rockstar's thanks list, has claimed rewards ranging from $250 to $1,000 over the past year. Rockstar's bug bounty program is essentially the same as one offered by Valve that we learned about last year, when it also went from private to public. At that time, Valve had paid out $109,000 to people who had discovered security flaws in Steam games, and, of course, games like CSGO, Team Fortress 2, and Dota 2. That amount is now up to more than $840,000. And in case you were wondering, yes, Rockstar confirmed it is still offering 10 large in its incorrect ban bounty campaign. Good luck. So if you want to try and replicate bans, if you want to try and replicate issues within the games as mentioned, again, you could win some pretty big cash ranging from $150,000 to $10,000. Of course, that's a significant chunk of change, but good luck with that because they make some pretty solid games. It's not impossible to find a bug, but man, you really got to play the games. But for somebody who might, like yourself, I don't know how much you play Red Dead Online or GTA Online, you could in fact find some pretty good ways to make some quick cash if you play just enough. Now, with that being said, that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed this one, drop me a like down below. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, check out the membership offerings, or follow along on a podcast service of your choice. I would appreciate it very much. But until tomorrow, have a phenomenal rest of your day. I will talk to you soon, and peace.